Touch it, grab it, fold it, flip it, grab it, touch it, flip it.
There's a device that I've been using called a Whoop.
Hello and welcome back to IGOW6. I'm your host, Dan Sugano, aka Skittles, and in this video, we're going to be covering IGOW6 Preseason Challenge number 2. That's the Nick Burns Flips and Rolls. Before we jump into the challenge goals, I want to answer a few quick questions that I've seen asked multiple times around the IGOW forum. As I've stated before, the preseason is optional. So if you are participating, you're encouraged to attempt as many of the goals as you feel is appropriate for your skill level. However, you're only allowed to submit one video per challenge. So if you've attempted or completed multiple of the goals, then all of the clips that you want to share must be put into your one video submission. And the maximum length for all video submissions is 90 seconds total. The first goal will always be the easy or beginner goal, and it will be the most basic implementation of the featured tricks. The second goal I will typically consider hard or advanced level, and the third goal will be expert level. So don't worry if it seems like some of the tricks are impossible and you don't even want to attempt some of the goals. The idea behind having 3 goals for each preseason challenge is to provide a task for pilots of all skill levels to attempt, not for all pilots to attempt every goal. Now I want to take a minute to talk about this challenge's title sponsor, Nick Burns. If you've been in the IGOW community for any amount of time, then you know how much love we have for Nick. He participated way back in the first IGOW ever and has been a sponsor and popularizer of the game every season along the way, helping IGOW become what it is today. He has earned the title of IGOW Team Pilot through his many years of support, and every season he introduces new pilots to IGOW through his excellent YouTube channel. If you ever need the details on a new drone or FPV product that you're thinking about buying, then be sure to check out Nick's review before you make your purchase. Thanks again for sponsoring all these years, Nick. You are truly a legend. Okay, and now with that said, let's get into the 3 goals for IGOW6 Preseason Challenge number 2, the Nick Burns Flips and Rolls. Goal number 1 is to perform a front flip, a right roll, a back flip, and a left roll, in that order, all in one clip with no bumps or ground taps. So again, you must start with a front flip, then do a right roll, then do a back flip, and then do a left roll. Goal number 2 is to perform 1 flip and 1 roll through a gate or gap in the same clip with no bumps or ground taps. Again, for IGOW, the maximum size gate or gap is 28 inches square, and the flip and roll can be in any order, and you can do a front flip or back flip and a left roll or a right roll. You just need 1 flip and 1 roll. And goal 3 is to perform a Mavvy Roll under and then over a gate or gap, and then perform a flip through that same gate or gap instead of passing back under it. Again, the maximum size is the standard IGOW gate or gap of 28 inches or 71 centimeters square. And if you're not sure exactly what a Mavvy Roll is, you can see here that you kind of fly forward under the obstacle and then lean back, toss yourself back and over the obstacle while performing a roll, and then you would pass back under it for a standard Mavvy Roll, but for this challenge, you're gonna then do a flip through that gate or gap. If this is a new trick for you, you'll be able to see it more clearly in the visualization portion of the tutorial. So the main point of focus for this challenge will be that you cut your throttle while you're performing your tricks so that you're flipping or rolling in place rather than moving in a loop or a spiral type motion. These examples demonstrate how a proper aileron roll should look when you cut your throttle before rolling versus a barrel roll and spiral type motion that you get if you do not drop your throttle while performing the roll. The next point of focus is for all the tricks that are performed through a gate or gap, and that is that you must start your flip or roll before entering the obstacle and then complete it after exiting the obstacle. And the final point of focus is that you fly away cleanly from all of your tricks. Please try to show that you were able to keep control and fly away cleanly after completing each of the goals. Okay, so those are all the goals and points of focus for IGOW6 Preseason Challenge number 2, the Nick Burns Flips and Rolls. So now let's get into the trick tutorial section of the video. In IGOW5, Blastaa did a great job explaining flips and rolls, so he's back again this year to break down this season's version of the challenge.
Thanks, Skittles. I'm happy to be back teaching flips and rolls again this season. So the first step of the IGOW6 trick tutorials is a visualization, and this is really straightforward for your standard flip and roll. A flip is a rotation on the pitch axis, and a roll is a rotation on the roll axis. As you can see in both cases, before the flip of the roll, the drone pops up to maximize the amount of hang time. Then the throttle is cut before the flip of the roll is performed. After 360 degrees of rotation, the throttle is reapplied to catch the drone and complete the trick. Again, you want to cut the throttle before flipping or rolling so the drone stays in place rather than moving in a spiral or loop path. The other new trick this week is called a Mavvy Roll. This trick was created by Shawnee D and is a combination of a Maverick loop and a roll. The path of this trick is just like a Maverick loop or a power loop. You start by passing under the obstacle, then pitch back and throttle up to toss yourself back up and over the obstacle while performing a roll. Then catch yourself and fly back again under the obstacle. That is a Mavvy Roll. Hello everyone and welcome to IGOW6 week number 2. This is Blastaa here and I am going to show you the basics of flips and rolls. We are going to be on Boner's Freestyle Office track this week, but you can pick any track. And I'm using the Crazy Bee Micro quad, but you can obviously practice this with any quad in the simulator and any track in the simulator. Let's go over the basics of flips and rolls. The most important thing to remember is throttle control. Throttle control is going to be everything when learning basic and more advanced tricks. So we're going to start out by doing some throttle blips and some catches. You're going to throttle up using your throttle, throttle down, and then throttle up again to catch yourself. Throttle blip, throttle down, and catch yourself. This might be easy in the sim, but when you have a little bit more weight to your quad and are dealing with real physics in real life, it can become a little bit more difficult. So, in between your throttle blips and your catches, you're going to perform your trick. In this case, it's going to be a front flip. So let's give it a try. You're going to use your throttle to throttle up, cut throttle, use your pitch axis to roll forward, or flip forward rather, and then use your throttle again to catch yourself. Let's try with a back flip. Throttle up, cut throttle, pitch backwards, and then throttle again to catch yourself. One more time. Throttle up, cut throttle, flip forward, and then catch yourself. Throttle up, cut throttle, flip backwards, and catch ourselves. And that's the basics of flips. Now on to rolls. When doing a roll, you're going to use the same principle, except you're going to be using your roll axis to roll left or right, rather than flip forward or backwards. So, we're going to throttle up, throttle down, roll axis to roll right, and then throttle again to catch ourselves. For left roll, throttle up, cut throttle, roll axis to roll left, and then throttle up again to catch ourselves. Great, now we've done all 4 basic flips and rolls. One quick tip, it really helps if you keep an object or the horizon in your point of view while you're flipping and rolling, so that you can try to flip and roll back to center after you finish your trick. One thing you want to make sure you're doing is actually flipping and not doing a power loop style motion. Same with the roll, you want to make sure you're actually rolling over your roll axis and not doing a barrel loop style motion. Those 2 tricks are slightly different than the natural flip and the roll. Another quick tip you can employ is using your yaw to make your rolls slightly faster. So if you use your roll and your yaw axis in opposite directions at the same time, you can roll slightly faster than if you just use your roll axis. So, once you've mastered the basics of flips and rolls, and you've gotten the sequence down of the throttle blip, flip, roll, or catch, you can start doing more advanced tricks, like flipping and rolling over an obstacle, or flipping and rolling through a gap. Let's try it here. So we're going to use this big crane. We're going to come up to it, we're going to use our throttle, cut, flip over, and and then use our throttle again to catch. You want to make sure you start your flip in your roll before you go over the obstacle, and then make sure you're using your throttle again to catch yourself after you finish going through the obstacle. Let's give it another try with a gap. You're coming in, cut throttle, roll, throttle again. Let's try it with a flip. Come in, cut throttle, flip, throttle again. Cut throttle, roll, throttle again. And those are the basics. Now when you get even more advanced, you could do things like flip to inverted for a little bit, and then flip back, roll to inverted, roll back, and other fun stuff like that. Now that we've done all the basics of flipping and rolling in the simulator, let's go outside and try it in real life.
What is up, IGOWers? I'm here at one of my local parks. You can get a little view of the water behind me. Some nice nature going on. We're here to do the first challenge of the flips and the rolls. So I'm going to find a nice little open area. We can go through the basics and go over what we're going to see for challenge 1. Let's check it out. Alright, I think I found a good spot. We got a nice little tree area right here. Little bench, nobody's around. Next to the water. We're going to set up, get our equipment set up, and look for a spot to do some of the flips and rolls. Show you guys what it's all about. Got this little guy right here. Check him out. Just an HD0 build. Mostly a Vine and Fly, but I've adjusted some of the parts on here, put new props, a better frame. Gonna be flying this guy today. So, when starting out with flips and rolls, the most important thing to remember was throttle control. Throttle control is everything when performing basic and more advanced tricks. You're going to start out just practicing your throttle flips and your catches. So throttle up, throttle down, and catch yourself. Throttle up, catch yourself. In between that throttle blip and that catch, you're going to perform your trick. In this case, we'll do a front flip. So we're going to use our pitch axis to roll forward in between our throttle blip and our catch. Alright, let's start out. Throttle up, throttle down, use our pitch axis to roll forward, and catch ourselves. Let's try with a back flip. Throttle up, throttle down, pitch back, and throttle up again to catch ourselves. Now, you can obviously do this a little bit faster. And when you get better at it, this will just come naturally to you and will be the building blocks of any more advanced trick. So let's try rolls. For a roll, you're going to do the same sequence, except use your roll axis to roll left or right. Let's try. Pitch up, throttle up, cut throttle, roll axis to roll right, and then throttle again to catch. Let's do a left roll. Throttle up, throttle down, roll axis to roll left, and catch. Beautiful. When you get a little bit more advanced, you can try flipping and rolling through a gap or over an obstacle. Make sure you start your flip or your roll before you go through the gap or over the obstacle, and fly away cleanly after you finish going through the gap or over the obstacle. Let's give it a try. So we could use myself as an obstacle. I'm going to come around, do a front flip, and fly away cleanly. Come around, do a roll, and fly away cleanly. Let's try this little gap between the tree here. We're going to come in, do our roll, and fly away cleanly. Oh, it's close with those little twigs. Let's try a flip. Flip. Oh. One more time. There we go. And fly away cleanly. And that is the basics of flips and rolls. Now, let's move on to our challenge 1, which will be doing a flip and a roll in each direction. all in one clip. Uh-oh. Welcome back, IGOWers. We're here in New York City to film challenge number 2. I'm gonna be headed down to my old spot as I'm down at Coleman LES Skate Park. Hot spot for skating in the city and a place where I filmed a lot of my IGOW4 videos. We're gonna hang out with the skaters for a little bit and then find some gaps to do some flips and rolls through for challenge number 2. Alright guys, I'm down here. I found a little playground near where we were just filming the skaters. Let's try to set up here and do challenge number 2. I think there's a few more little gaps we can hit. So for challenge number 2, we're going to be doing a flip and a roll, back to back, through a gap, all in one clip with no ground taps. Make sure you start your flip or your roll before you're passing through the gap, and finish it after you pass through the gap. Let's give it a go. First we do our flip. Beautiful. And then come around and do our roll. And that will be challenge number 2. First, let's start with our flip. And then we'll do our roll. And that's it. Now let's move on to challenge 3. Alright, IGOWers, for location number 3, we are going to be in my basement. Not every location has to be cool in New York. Sometimes it's just about getting the trick done. Got my gate set up here. We're going to need an elevated gate for this challenge. The max opening for the gate is going to be 28 inches, which is IGOW standard. I believe this is 24. I use these for RaceGOW. And it's elevated about a foot off the ground. So you can use this, you can use something like this, you can use a cube. We've got a cube right here. Or you can use, whatever kind of elevated gate, cool obstacle you could find. You're going to be able to fly under it and over it. So keep that in mind while finding an obstacle. Alright, let's get to the challenge. So, for this combo, the red gate is your focus. You're going to be flying underneath the gate, then doing a Mavvy Roll over the gate, and then doing a flip through the gate to finish off, and flying away cleanly. All in one clip, no bumps or ground taps. Let's see what that looks like. So you're going to start by flying under, and then do a Mavvy Roll over the gate. Then flip through. And then you're done. Alright guys, I'm outside, out back. I still got my element here. I'm going to give you another example of the Mavvy Roll to flip. A little bit more space, give us more room for the Mavvy Roll. We'll be flying under, Mavvy Roll, flip through. One more time. Underneath, pitch back, throttle up, Mavvy Roll, flip through.
Grab it, touch it, flip, 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 touch it, 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 grab it, touch it, grab it, hold it, flip it, flip it, hold it, grab it, touch it, grab it, hold it, flip it, flip it, hold it, grab it, touch it, grab it, hold it, flip it, flip it, hold it, grab it, touch it, grab it, hold it, flip it, flip it, hold it, grab it, touch it.